Welcome to the Versa Business Tips Podcast. I'm your host, founder and CEO of Versa Business Systems, Shaheen Mazloom. We are here with a very special guest today, a serial entrepreneur with a chain of quick service restaurants here in Maryland, my friend and client, Tim. How you doing today, brother?
Good, Shaheen. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man, doing well. So for those out there that don't know you, tell us a little bit about what it is you do.
So I have bagel shops in Maryland. Bagel Works Hunt Valley is one of them. We are a quick service bagel shop, servicing New York style bagels the old fashioned way.
Yeah.
We cook them, we boil them in water. It's a water based bagel that then we put it in the oven, and it's made fresh every single day.
Very cool. So that's the difference between like you guys and like an Uber Bagels or something like that.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Yeah.
They're using a par baked bagel, a half baked bagel, and then they put it in the oven, where we make our dough fresh every day, and then boil it in water. It's very labor intensive. And it's got a lot of equipment, so that's why a lot of people try to stay away from it, because it can be expensive.
Right. Now, so how did you get started in the restaurant business?
So I worked in restaurants my whole life. As a kid growing up, I was bussing tables and hustling always in a restaurant. And when I got out of college, I started to work for a corporation called MCI. It was a telephone company back in the 80s and 90s. And I didn't really like working in a corporation, and my love was always with food. And my love was always with that industry. So I started to look into what could I do that would be different. And this was back in, the mid 90s. I thought, a sub shop, pizza shop, they're like a dime a dozen.
Right.
I decided that I was going to go with bagels, and I had a connection. So I played football at Towson, and one of our alums there, Randy Bielski, had started a bagel shop, Bagel Works in Lutherville. And so I jumped in with him, and we opened 4 stores together. We had 5 at one point, and the rest is history.
Very cool. Very cool. So, I talk about this with a lot of people, partnerships and the importance of them. A lot of people, especially starting out, some people tend to shy away. I want my own business. But, would you say that partnerships are important and really a benefit? You just got to look at it a different way.
They can be, but people have to go into a partnership knowing that it's probably harder than a marriage.
Right.
You're not only married to your partner, but you're married to your partner's partner. And that can be difficult, because there's challenges there where, both of you are probably making the same amount of money since you're partners, but some of us are handling our money differently, and some are spending it differently, and some have different things. And so there's a jealousy that can set in between the two families, if one's doing better than the other. And it's maybe because there's all kinds of reasons, one mismanages money and one handles money better. So, but then there's this thing that comes in that people starts creeping into their minds. Are they stealing? Why do they have more than us? Why is this? So I've had that happen before too. So there's a double-edged sword to it. It can help you take a lot of pressure off, but on the back end, you have, some issues like that.
Right. You got more things to worry about.
I've had partnerships. I've had great ones, and I've had terrible ones. I like where I'm at now, where it's just me doing it.
Right.
And my partner in life, Samantha. So she's like my partner in business right now, and we keep it close that way. So it works that way better.
Yeah. Now, do you think you would have been able to start your first location without a partner?
No. See, there's the key. So I got into it, because two is better than one, especially when you go to a bank and you're trying to get loans for a business. And it's really tough in the restaurant industry to get loans for a restaurant. Having 2 people in that office is a lot better than having one. So, one of us may have a better credit report. One of us may have a little bit more money to bring to the table than the other, but the other brings a lot more passion and brings, the know-how. So you try to balance and see where this is going to, make sense and where it's going to meet equal.
Yeah. So it's important to find a partner that picks up where you lack, so it can be a good partnership. Both of you guys are bringing different things to the table. Because if you just got 2 guys with money, that there's like, money, you got, like you said, you got to have the passion, you got to have the love, you got to have the
Know
know-how.
how.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot, a lot of times
100%.
people have partnerships where it's 50-50 because one guy knows everything and the other guy's just bringing money. Well, if
Yeah,
they can both agree to that's equal, that's fine. But there's a
yeah.
point in time where 5 years down the road, things start to set in, and these evils start to enter into our minds, and that can be the
Yeah,
downfall to a lot of partnerships.
100%. I mean, like when I started my business, Versa Business Systems, I had a partner in the very beginning because I didn't at the time I didn't have a dime to my name. I went through a really tough part of my life, I lost everything, and I knew I had to get back into something. And so when I started the company, I actually created it for somebody else. And they were going to have to table it. So nothing was going to happen with this business I created. I'm like, well, why don't we partner up? You've got the money to do it. You don't have the time to run it. I'll run it. You put up the money. And then, I think it was about 6 months later, I ended up just buying them out. But yeah, I totally get that because, they were bringing the money. I was bringing all the work, right? They're sitting back collecting a check. But 6 months down the line, you tend to forget that. You're like, man, I'm doing all the work, and But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been able to do it without that partner's money, and we came to a great agreement, bought them out, and it works out. But I mean, I think a lot of people, they don't start a business or they don't even go down that road or move forward with their ideas because they don't want to partner, but they don't have the money or they don't have all the pieces in place, and so they just don't do it. And
Yeah,
I'm like, man, just get a partner. Like there's if you can keep all your equity, absolutely do it. But if you can't, it's better to start with partners than to not start
not
at
at
all.
all.
Would you agree?
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So with running a business, everybody talks about how hard the restaurant industry is, especially, right? You got to be there all the time. You're married to it. The profit margins are slim. What would you say to those people? Like, what has made you successful and major profits where they are and not having to be married to your business 24/7? Versus other restaurateurs out there that are, I mean, literally working themselves to the bone, and taking home, just enough to get by.
It For me, it's come with time. Um, my first 15 years in the business, people will tell you I worked 100 hours a week. I worked
Right,
my knuckles to the bone. Um, when I got married, we didn't go away on a honeymoon. I went right back to work the next day.
right,
It was a 9 day a week business, not 7 days a week. It felt like nine.
right.
I'm open every day of the year except Christmas, so I never had off. What it comes down to is over time, you start to get your what I call studs or your anchors in a store. And I started to
Okay.
plug anchors in my store in certain spots that I knew I could count on these plugs. And so they weren't managers, but they were definitely studs that wanted to work, and I could give them a good salary, and they would be happy to work there, and they would take me to the finish line, so to speak.
Right.
Um, I'm still
So it's
married.
people, right?
People.
You got to have reliable people, um, to pick up when you're not there, right? That stuff's going to get done.
Well, employees will they'll sink or swim. You'll see either swim or sink with employees. I mean,
Right.
they can break your heart. I tell people all the time, employees can break your heart because you give
Yeah.
them so much of yourself. You take them in as family. Sometimes you give them extra things and you take care of them and you try to do this stuff, and then all of a sudden they don't show up for work, and you're like, it's a total slap in the face. And
Yeah.
that's it's a tough ththing. Employees and they also are they're the forefront of your business. So they're always taking on the customer. They're always, they're they're your face of
Yeah.
you.
They're an extension of
I
you
always
for
tell
sure.
them, you guys are the face of the franchise. And, so employees have always been and will always be probably the most important part to getting away from your store or not having to work as hard. But if you're passionate, you're always going to be there. You're always going to be probably nitpicking. I learned that the less I nitpicked and the less I looked over people's shoulder, the better they did.
Okay.
The more that I was like almost like a tyrant at the beginning, where I wanted to be involved in every single thing, and I thought I was doing every single thing great. But what I
Right.
was really doing was doing everything sort of great, but not really great. And if I just left it to this person and didn't hang all over them, they would do it better than me. And I just had to trust them to do that.
Right.
Over time, that comes out. Over
Yeah.
time, you release and you let go. But if you
100%. It's things you got to learn.
yeah, you
Yeah.
learn over time, and it just doesn't happen. You don't just come in knowing these things. You come in
Yeah.
scared because you've got
Yeah.
bills to pay. You've got a bank, a mortgage, and you have a nut to the bank for the business, and so you're running scared, and you're running, like you said, close margins.
Yeah.
So you're always constantly, peppering people, and what happens is they know you're looking over their shoulder and they get nervous and they don't perform at
Yeah.
their top level. So what you have to
Yep.
do is back off, let them do their job, and they'll do it great. And
Yeah.
I've learned that my business, when I stopped hovering over my business so much, my business started to take off.
Yeah.
It didn't have this person just looking over it, always
Right.
constantly keeping it like from just taking off.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. 100%.
I'm
I
better
agree.
served. I'm better served doing other things than worrying about whether the guy got a double toasted bagel or not. You know what I mean? Whether
Right.
the egg came out proper. I mean, yes, that's important to me, but I'm also better served doing other things.
Right, right. Yeah, it's all about knowing your strengths, right? Like I remember the first couple years I was in business, I had to control everything, and then we really started to take off when I got my employees more involved in, the decisions and hey, like what's going on here? Like what is this person doing really well? And hey, can you show this person how to do that? And really, trusting more in the people that like you're investing a ton of time and money into these employees, and you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. I always say, hire slow, fire fast. If they're not the right fit for the business, you should have already got rid of them anyway. But if they're the right fit for the business, they show up, they work hard. You got to give them some of that leeway to be able to do their job and do it well, rather than, like you said, hovering over them.
Yeah, yeah. What you said too was hire slow, fire fast for sure. In my business, if we hire somebody and we don't know within 1 or 2 days if they're going to be a success, we got to get rid of them. Because in
Yeah.
my business, if they go a month and I could lose $2,000 off that
Oh yeah.
between four checks,
Yep.
their uniforms, the fact that I had to get someone to train them, so it took other people away from their jobs,
Not to mention the
the
customers.
mistakes they made to customers along the way that they may not come back. Who knows what
Yep.
happened?
Yeah.
This all adds up to $1,500, $2,000.
Easily.
If we do that 10 times on the
Yeah.
course of a year and make 10 mistakes, that's 20 grand. I mean, in my
Oh
case,
yeah.
that's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
hard cash right there. So that's bottom
Oh yeah.
money. So we got to make
100%.
sure that it's right. And I always tell everybody they should be able to do a certain amount after the first
Yeah.
day. And if they can't, we got to go.
100%. With us being in business to business, none of my guys cold call, right? We only speak to business owners that want to speak to us by doing marketing and lead generation and things like that. So, when you say, it's going to cost you $2,000 in a month, for me, if I don't fire somebody within a week, like I got to know within a week, because after a week or after a month, I've spent $25,000 on that sales rep. I'm just talking in money, not time, not nothing. And it's like, man, it's
Everything's
got to
relative.
come back.
Everything's
Yeah,
relative.
absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy, but at the end of the day, the employees, like you said, they're the face of the company. That's what the customer sees. That's what they experience. They're not experiencing the hardworking owner that's running around or sitting in the back or whatever. Right. It's tough. And especially when you appreciate people and you love people, you feel bad and, but you can, at the end of the day, this is your business, this is how you feed your family. And you've got to put that first, above not wanting to hurt somebody's feelings or not wanting to give up on somebody. You're going to know within a few days. I don't care what business you're in. You're going to know within a few days, do they got it or do they not?
They have the potential to get it or don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that we've been talking about a lot on this podcast is technology, right? There's so much new technology out there, from Chat GPT, and social media is going haywire now. For obviously, technology is important with any type of business, but specifically for restaurants, how important is technology? Getting the right point of sale system or the right credit card processing program or company. How important is that to the success of a restaurant or quick service restaurant like you're in?
I would say it's top five. You have to the point of sale system is such that for inventory, for theft, and for efficiency, you need a top of the line POS system.
Right.
There's back in when I first started out and we were ringing up on a register and it was cash. It was just so easy to take the money off the waitress to take the whole amount of cash on the table and just put it in her pocket. And we never had any record of that. So that has changed. And if you want to talk about freeing yourself from a restaurant, that'll really free you, because that really has locked down the theft. I mean, yes, there's other ways that happen, and you try to stay ahead of the curve with all those other ways that they're trying to manipulate the system. But that has been a real huge added bonus is that credit card processing. I mean, it's everything in the bottom line. I mean, it's the amount that a processor's charging you is everything, and they could be charging you 4 or 5%. Somebody else could be charging 2.5%. So it's always important to shop it around. I'm lucky. I'm with Versa right now, so I don't have to shop it around. We're at 0, so it's cool. But yeah, it's definitely a top 5. Yeah. It's a huge. Now, I'm assuming at the end of the year, that's one of our biggest expenses. That credit card.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of our biggest expenses.
Yeah, right, absolutely. I mean, that's any restaurant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, so I mean, you've obviously had you've had multiple different restaurants. You probably had all kinds of different point of sales over the years. I feel like a lot of business owners, especially in the restaurant industry, they don't even realize some of the stuff that is available on some of these newer point of sale systems now. Like, when you switched to us, how long has it been now? 6 months?
Yeah, probably 6-7 months. Yeah.
What is, you had, what was it, Micros you had before?
Yeah, we had Micros.
And so from that going to a new point of sale, this new badass point of sale system, what has kind of been some of the biggest changes with upgrading that point of sale? Like, has it made you more money? Has it made things run more efficiently? Has it gotten you more time back? Like, what are some of the benefits that, by investing in or having us invest into a newer point of sale system has done for your business?
Yes to all of that.
Yeah.
The time I can do everything from my home, from my laptop. I can generate all these reports. I don't have to be at a server at the store. The server comes with me everywhere I go because it's cloud based.
Right.
I'm able to, if somebody has a question, I don't have to go back to the office and answer. I can be, let's pull it up right now.
Right.
Pull it up right there, and I'm like, here it is, right here. And they're like, wow, and it's almost like it's taken me from, being unprofessional to absolutely professional in the way that we do things. The girls are now able to go to the tables with tablets in their hands and take orders right there. So it's seamlessly sent to the kitchen right as they're taking the order at the table. And they don't have to go running to put the order, write it down, put the order in. So that becomes efficient. My girls can grab a tablet and go out into the line for takeout and start breaking down the line. If it's 8, 9, 10 people deep, anybody that wants to use credit card can come right over here, and we can start another 4th line over here. So taking this bottleneck and created this huge, freeway of just, flowing of traffic.
Right. So you can handle more customers faster.
Way more customers, way faster, and way more efficiently. We take their name and number initially, and it may take 5 seconds because I tell the girls, like, we got to take their name and number first. That's going to take a while. I was like, well, it's 5 seconds, and then once we have all their information, when they call next time, their last 10 orders show up on your screen, and usually they're going to pick one of those 10 because everybody's a creature of habit. Usually it's the same. It's like
I always order the same bagel every time I get a bagel.
Bacon, egg, and cheese, home fries, and a bagel and a soda. Well, if you've done that whatever. It shows your pattern. So all you have to do is
That's
press
cool.
that last order. You don't have to ask them any further. You can just say, "Do you want what you had yesterday, Nick?" Yep. Okay. See you in 5 minutes, and it's over. There's no talking. There's no nothing. It's done. So
Right.
there's these great things that have come along with this that have just made us. It's made my employees happy. Way
Yeah.
Another great thing is if you use DoorDash, Grubhub, or any of those third party people, instead of Grubhub or DoorDash having to call in the order or
Right.
fax in the order or email the order to you, um, with these new systems, they come seamlessly right into the cook's screen to the window. So
Oh,
the
nice.
actual counter girl doesn't even have to put the order in from Grubhub. It just comes through the computer right to the grill, and the guy just starts making the food. And the counter don't even know it happened until the cook says order up, and then they take it
Right.
and put it with DoorDash. Yeah, so it's like it's crazy the things that this stuff does.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Very cool. So, obviously you're passionate about the restaurant industry. Is there something specific about the restaurant industry? Like are you passionate about the food? Are you passionate about the service? Like what's your passion when it comes to the restaurant industry, and is passion something that is super important in owning a business?
It's everything. Passion is
Okay.
everything when owning the business, and
I agree.
I am I am so passionate about my bagels. It's everything to us, no pun intended. But you know, if we don't have the great bagel, then people aren't going to come in and try a cheesesteak. People aren't going to try an omelet. They're not going to come in and try anything else on the menu. You have to have the
Right.
great what you say you're great at. You have to be great at that first. For a long time, not a long time, but back earlier, I struggled because when Starbucks came on in the middle of my run here in 23 years, Starbucks has come in, Panera Bread has come in. These places come in and I wanted to compete with Starbucks with their coffees. And so I got a cappuccino machine and I started, a board of all these fresh, latte coffees with all these different flavors and the chocolate bomb and all these different things. And what I found out was, number one, we didn't sell one. What
Wow.
I found out was we are a bagel shop first. And
Right.
we are bagels and we will always be bagels. And you need to stay with bagels and stop trying to run going this way and go this way. Stay focused on what you're great at. Be great at
Right.
that. And if you want to open up a coffee shop, go open up a coffee shop down the street. But don't try to implement
Right.
Starbucks into your business because it's taking you away from what you do best. And I'll tell people a lot of times,
Yeah.
my girlfriend will come in and say, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. And I always say, don't take us away from what we do best, which is our breakfast sandwiches, bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese,
Yeah.
the ham, egg, and cheeses, those sandwiches. I mean, we do 8,000, 9,000 of those a month. That's our winner. That's
Wow.
where everything lies. So,
Right.
don't take me down the road of coffees or something. We do have coffee and we have good coffee and we have great coffee, but it's not going to take me away from what I do best. And nothing should ever take you away from what you do best. You should always be focused on,
Yeah.
that one product that your name represents. And ours is Bagel Works. So it's bagels.
Yeah.
It's not cheesesteak
Yeah.
works. It's not omelet works. It's Bagel Works.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally get that. I see that often in in pizza places, right? They'll start doing like pastas and cannolis and lasagna, and they're doing all these different things, and you notice everybody in the place has got pizza. It's like you're doing all these different things, and I mean, it's tearing down your costs. Food's going bad. You've got to update your menus every time you add something. I mean, all that stuff costs money.
And
Yeah, I couldn't agree
it's
more.
taking you away from what you do best. I mean, your
Yeah,
people are having to worry about other things instead of what it is that they're great at. Like, this is what we're
yeah,
great at. Let's stay great at this.
yeah, yeah. Couldn't agree more, man. So, for the people that are new to business or thinking about starting a business, what is some advice that you would give to those new entrepreneurs or people that are thinking about starting a business?
Um, I would say, pen to paper starts the whole process. You have an idea; it doesn't become an idea till you put pen to paper, and from
Yeah,
there, it's going to take your passion to get you going. But if you have passion in what you believe in and what you want to do, um, don't regret it. Don't regret in life not taking a chance.
Right.
And the younger you are, the better off you are trying to take that chance. I learned that. I was fortunate enough to be young to take the chance, but there should be no regrets in this life. So if you
Yeah.
have a passion and you want to do something, you got to go for it, and you
A
be
hundred
passionate
percent.
about it. And put pen to paper, have your ideas ready. Make sure when you go and talk about your idea that you really fact checked it, thought it out, done research, and you're really, really not just, throwing like smoke up in the air, that you
Right.
really come to the table seriously. Because I have people all the time come to me with ideas and things, and I'm like, until I see pen to paper, until I see
Right.
something,
You've got to test
it's
it.
just
You
nothing to
got to
me.
test
It's
it.
nothing to
Yeah.
me. So, I really, think that those are pretty much
Yeah,
being,
no, I couldn't agree more, man. Like I hear people all the time, like, man, I really want to start a business, but I don't know what to start. I'm like, well, the first thing you got to do is write down on a piece of paper 5 things that you're super passionate about. Even if you've only got 2 things, figure out what the things you're passionate about, and figure out what problems can you solve for either those types of people or within those types of industries or whatever.
yeah, where do
Like
you fit into
with
the puzzle? Where can I
a
fit
hundred
myself
percent.
into this puzzle?
100%, man. Like with me, like I've always been passionate about businesses. People think like, well, you want to start a business, you want to be an entrepreneur. If you're just passionate about businesses, well, that's not really a business. You just open a business. Like, but it's not that, right? Like my passion is helping businesses because I'm passionate about businesses,
That's
right?
the only way
If
you're
you're
going to be
passionate about
successful. You're only going to be
right,
successful if you're passionate about it.
a hundred percent.
It's really a very weird thing. It's not going to be because you love money. It's not going to
Yeah.
be that.
No.
Because the money doesn't matter. What I really care about is the people, or what I really
Yeah.
care about is the quality of my bagel, or what I really care
Yep.
about is XYZ. It has nothing to
Yep.
do with how much money I make or what. Because the
Right.
success will come.
The
The
right.
success
The money naturally
will come
comes. Yeah. Yeah.
because your passion is right there.
Yep. Absolutely, man. I was talking to a guy the other day, Darwin. So he's always been passionate about the cleaning business, and he worked for a business, and he loves like door to door sales and stuff like that. So when he started his business, he hadn't even bought a mop, a rag, nothing until he had 5 clients. He went out on the street one day, made sure that his business worked, right? Were people willing to pay what he needed, and did they want the thing that he was providing? He went out one day, got 5 clients, and then went and got the mop and the bucket and the credit card swiper and all that stuff. I think time and time again, people put the cart before the horse, and they're like, "I've got this great idea. Let's go rent a space and let's go do this. Let's go do that, do the other." And they haven't even fully tested it out, or like you said, put pen to paper to really make sure they have a viable business. They are passionate about it, and they go and spend either all their money or somebody else's money,
No one, no one's,
and
no
they
one,
don't know where they're going.
no one's going to give you money if you come to the table with just of smoke in the air. They're just not. You
Yeah,
got to be prepared. I recommend a business plan, and if you
yeah.
don't know how to do one, um, you can
How
call me
Chat
and I'll help you
GPT
with
can
one.
create one for
You
it.
can Google it. Yeah, you can Google it. I
Yeah,
can help you with it. It's not hard, but you have to show that you have that your idea has enough respect that you're
yeah,
willing to diagnose it and research it because it deserves that respect. If
absolutely.
not, you're just going to look like a fool. So that's the
Yep.
number one thing, is to come to the meeting with whoever you're going to get money from, or whoever you're approaching the idea with. Come to it professionally, and come
Yeah.
to it with knowledge about what you're doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no faster way to lose somebody's attention than not knowing the answer to a question, not having that passion, not being prepared.
Not being prepared,
Yeah, I've seen
being
some
late for
pretty.
the meeting.
Oh my, that's the
It's
worst.
an immediate no. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're late for that meeting, it
exactly.
means that you don't look.
You
You
don't
don't
care
care.
enough.
Because let me tell
Yeah,
you something. When my coach always told me, I played football at Towson. He always told me, Tim, if I put $1 million, down the road and told you had to be there at 10 o'clock, your ass will be there at 10 o'clock. You probably be there at
yeah, exactly.
nine.
Like things happen,
You'll be
but
there
you
at nine
prepare for those
fifty.
things.
But you're late for our meeting because What, you don't
Right.
care? What, it wasn't that
All right.
important to you?
Exactly. And people are like, oh, it was traffic and this happened and that happened. It's like, yeah, but you should have
You
planned
should
for all
plan
that.
all that. Now, let me tell you a
Yeah.
story. When I was a kid, you know, when you were going to play baseball and you're playing little
Yeah.
league, the night
Yeah.
before, I was putting my shirt out, I was putting my
Exactly.
pants out, my socks were lined up.
Dude, I do that now.
You know why? That's why, because I wanted to leave nothing to chance in the morning. I wanted to
Yep.
make sure that my uniform was ready because I was going to be at that game. Because you know why?
100%.
It meant everything to me. It meant the world to me. And
Yeah.
if you're late for your meeting, the person at the other end of that table is saying it doesn't mean shit to you. It doesn't mean anything to
100%.
you.
It's the little thing, like, you know, the little things can be the biggest thing. Like 1 minute late, it does not matter. Like you should have been early.
Early.
Like my mom has always made fun of me because she'll tell me dinner's at 7 and I'll be there at 6:30. They know I'm going to be a half an hour early no matter what time they tell me to be there, and they know my brother is going to be a half hour late. They know it to the T. So they'll tell him dinner's at 6:30. They'll tell me it's at 7. I'll be there at 6:30, and he might be there on time.
Yep.
You know, but it's funny you say about like with Little League, right? Like I do that now. Like before I go to bed,
It means the world
like
to you.
yeah, but like my fiance is always making fun. He's like, it takes you so long to go to bed. I'm like, well, I got to get my clothes ready for the morning. I got to make sure everything's ready. So when I wake up, I'm boom, boom, shower, change, ready to go, rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to leave anything for a chance. I want to make sure my coffee's ready to go in the morning. You know, like I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, when we're going away on a trip and we're going to catch a flight somewhere, I mean, and it's such a great trip, but we leave 2 hours early to get there because we want to make sure, even if there's traffic,
Yeah,
nothing's going to stop me from getting on this plane. And
exactly.
that's the way this all should be, you know.
Exactly, and it should be
rolling.
the same way with everything. Exactly, like all these people, they show up 2-3 hours early for a flight. If you're not willing to do the same thing for your business, that's really your life. You're not going to do it for anything. You're just not serious.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
I think people need to get serious, you know, with themselves and really have a hard look in the mirror. Like, is this something that you really want to do?
Yeah.
Right. If it is, you will figure it out and you will make it happen every single time.
You will. Yep, for sure.
100%. So I know you do some consulting. I know you've helped some restaurants open up, get started, grow. You know, on our show, we're always doing giveaways. Like, what do you have for our viewers and listeners today that you can help them out with?
So I've recently taken up challenges with either new restaurants starting up or restaurants that are struggling and trying to figure out what's going wrong. I come in and I can consult and I try to give my opinion. So if anybody wants to call me, I'll give one free consult session.
Awesome.
That could lead to other things if they want. But yeah, I'd like
Very
that for all our viewers.
Awesome. I'll make sure your email, your phone number, social media, that stuff is all in the description.
Yeah. If anybody has any questions about anything, feel free to call. I'm
definitely, man. Very cool, man. I appreciate that, dude. It's been great talking to you.
You too. Good catching up.
I'm happy everything's going well. It looks like you're in a beautiful area right now. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
And we'll talk soon.
All right, that was great. See you soon.